Ladies and gentlemen, to deliver the Krishnanand Thankar Foundation Endowment Lecture on Equity and the Future of Healthcare in India, I give you Dr. Vinayak Singh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At the very outset, I'd like to thank the family members of Srimati Lakshmi Venkatraman for instituting this endowment oration lecture on this World Kidney Day. She was a volunteer of the Spastic Society and served for CanStop, rendering relentless service to those suffering from deadly disease of cancer. It is a very befitting and meaningful tribute to her by her family members. Having heard Dr. Ganapathy speak about her, she is a very worthy person to be remembered today. Let me thank Father Jose Bagley for a chief guest. Finally, but not the least, let me thank the entire staff of trustees and Tanker who are very close to my heart and for their dedicated and committed service to reach out to the poor for the last 20 years. Thank you.
I think our trustee, Kia Malti, deserves a big round of applause. She's on dialysis. She's our biggest fundraiser. And she is a source of inspiration also to all of us. So thank you, Malti, for proposing the vote of thanks. We thank all of you. Thank the press.
Disconnected.
So I now call upon Mrs. Malati Venkatesan to please come and introduce our speaker.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to introduce Dr. Deko Aydin Mohammed, who will be delivering this lecture this evening on behalf of her mother. We heard about her mother from a book, Keeping Hopes Alive. So we are very particular that they should come and share the experience with us. And unfortunately, she is not well, so her daughter has come. So we really welcome her. Please, we welcome you, Doctor.
Here.
என் பேர் ஷாலினி. நான் ஆர்னிலேருந்து வரேன். நான் ஒரு 4 இயர்ஸாக டயாலிசிஸ் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்கேன். ஆனால் 3 இயர்ஸாக தான் தியாகராஜன் சார் மூலிமா சத்தோச்சாரில் டேங்கர் ஃபவுண்டேஷனில் டயாலிசிஸ் பண்ணுறாங்கன்னு தெரிய வந்து டயாலிசிஸ் பண்ணுறேன். ஸ்டார்டிங்கில் மென்டலி ஃபினான்ஷியலி ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டுட்டு இருந்தேன். ஆனால் டேங்கரில் டயாலிசிஸ் பண்ணதுலேருந்து ரொம்ப ஃப்ரீயாக ஃபீல் பண்ணுறேன். அந்த எந்த ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரெஸ்ஸும் கிடையாது. ஈச் அண்ட் எவ்ரி ஒன் ஸ்டாஃப், எஸ்பெஷலி தியாகராஜன் சார், எல்லாருமே எங்களை ரொம்ப நல்லா பார்த்துக்கிறாங்க. என்னை மட்டும் இல்லை, என் கூட டயாலிசிஸ் பண்ணுற எல்லாருமே ரொம்ப ஃப்ரீயாக ஃபீல் பண்ணுறாங்க. ரொம்ப பெரிய தேங்க்ஸ் டேங்கர் ஃபவுண்டேஷன் அண்டு டயாலிசிஸ் பண்ணுறவங்க எல்லாருக்குமே டேங்கர் வந்து ஒரு பெரிய காட் கிஃப்ட்டுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். டேங்கர்னாலே ரொம்ப நீட் அண்ட் க்ளீன், அதான் ஃபஸ்ட்டு. ஸோ பெரிய பெரிய நன்றிகள் டேங்கர் ஃபவுண்டேஷன். தேங்க்ஸ் டு ஆல்.
See my brothers come around and look at me that way, and I knew just what they were trying to say. No holding back their stories, their eyes tell me it's scary. I'm sorry, put my head down, then I quickly start praying. Oh no, 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 I was not to be consoled, and I wasn't so sure of where things would be headed. Searching for angels of mercy and purveyors of hope, I find the promise of a new dawn just laying within. And now it's clear to me now, and I'm finally out, then I quickly stopped praying. Oh no, 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 I was not to be consoled, and I wasn't so sure of where things would be headed. Searching for angels of mercy and purveyors of hope, I find the promise of a new dawn just laying within. And now it's clear to me now, and I'm finally coming around to open my heart, open my arms, give it to one and all my brothers now. The clocks keep ticking on for many of my dear brethren. The tides of change are yet to set in for all their suffering. Now hold out your hands, show them the path, and give them a chance. Oh, let's bring love back. Oh no, 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 I was not to be consoled, and I wasn't so sure of where things would be headed. Searching for angels of mercy and purveyors of hope, I find the promise of a new dawn just laying within. And now it's clear to me now, and I'm finally coming around to open my heart, open my arms, give it to one and all my brothers now. यज्ञदानतपः कर्मणः त्याज्यं कायमेव यज्ञोदानं तपश्चैव पावनानि मनीषिणाम् एतान्यतीतकर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मदमुत्तमम्. It's clear to me now, and I'm finally coming around to open my heart, open my arms, give it to one and all my brothers now. It's clear to me now, and I'm finally coming around to open my heart, open my arms, give it to one and all my brothers now.
Welcome to everybody. It's our 30th annual Charity and Awards Night 2023. So we're here today. Every year we've had a function, so we're blessed that we've reached this far. So our program today is dedicated to all our angels. I think all our angels are here. The people who have served selflessly in Tanker. This includes all our enablers, donors, trustees, staff, everybody. So grateful thanks. This is all dedicated to you. Along with a lot of our enablers who are not here with us today, we dedicate this evening to them. There are two people whom we'd like to dedicate it to as well. An uncle of mine called Ramu, who used to come every year. Initially, we used to sell tickets, then it became a dance program, then it became an awards night. So we miss him very much. And there was a little girl called Neha who passed recently due to problems, of aneurysm. But she was a person who really, really wanted to do a lot in life. So this is dedicated to dear little Neha as well. So we start with a prayer song by Sudha Lakshmi Rao. Every year she is here from wherever she is and whichever part of the world, and she's going to sing the prayer song for us. Thank you.
We can remain seated. My invocation today talks about divinity exists where there is love, where there is wisdom, where there is compassion, where there is education. So this is a song I learned when I was in school. So without further ado, அன்பு நிறைந்த நெஞ்சம் தனிலே அறிவு நிறைந்திருக்கும் அறிவு நிறைந்த நெஞ்சம் தனிலே ஆண்டவன் குடியிருப்பான் இன்பம் நிறைந்த நெஞ்சம் தனிலே இரக்கம் நிறைந்திருக்கும் இரக்கம் நிறைந்த நெஞ்சம் தனிலே இறைவன் குடியிருப்பான் கல்வி நிறைந்த நெஞ்சம் தனிலே கனிவு நிறைந்திருக்கும் கனிவு நிறைந்த நெஞ்சம் தனிலே கடவுள் குடியிருப்பான் கடவுள் குடியிருப்பான் கடவுள் குடியிருப்பான்.
Thank you, Sudha. That was a beautiful song. We'll go into the lecture today. The first part of our program is the Mr. S.V. Venkatesan and Mrs. Malti Venkatesan Tanker Foundation Memorial Lecture. This is in memory of these two dear trustees of ours who really worked selflessly and helped Tanker grow, who was so devoted to taking care of patients, patient care and everything. Dr. Georgie's patient was Malati, and she really knew what kidney failure was all about and struggled, and really was an inspiration to all of us. So even though her daughter, Aparna John, is not here today, she's in California, she will be giving the introduction about the lecture. Thank you.
Good afternoon and evening to everyone. I am grateful to be a part of this Tanker Foundation's annual charity and awards night, and to honor this year's recipient of the S.V. and Malati Venkatesan Tanker Foundation Memorial Lecture, Dr. Gomati Narasimhan. This award is in honor of my wonderful parents who were my best friends and spiritual guides in this earthly journey. S.V. and Malati Venkatesan played a real leading role in many charities and NGOs, including nearly 3 decades as trustees for the Tamil Nadu Kidney Research or Tanker Foundation, as well as the Mohan Foundation, serving underprivileged patients with kidney disease and liver disease. Amma was a graduate of Queen Mary's College and champion volunteer at numerous NGOs, known for her tremendous grit, bold determination, and visionary leadership. She bravely battled kidney disease for over 2 decades while serving underprivileged patients through her role as a trustee of Tanker and the Mohan Foundation. This is what made her an eloquent advocate for better solutions for patients with kidney disease. Appa's brilliant intellect and extraordinary earthly achievements were exceeded only by his simplicity, humility, and joyful good-naturedness. They were both universally beloved and respected, and deeply spiritual. The Hindu scriptures say that to be born to wealthy parents is a rare birth taking many lifetimes, but to be born to spiritual parents is even rarer. I am one of those fortunate few. I also take a moment to honor everyone who we have lost during the pandemic, and that we are the ones who have lived through and are still navigating a time of unprecedented crisis for almost 3 years. We need care and caregiving grounded in the patient experience and frontier medicine more than ever, which is why I am grateful for this year's awardee, Dr. Narasimhan, whose work has spanned kidney and liver transplants, as well as advocacy for the quality of life in post-transplant patients, a topic very close to Amma's heart. Heartfelt congratulations, Dr. Narasimhan, and congratulations to all the other award recipients tonight.
So that was Aparna John Venkateshan. So I now invite Dr. Gomati Narasimhan, Senior Consultant, Liver and Renal Transplant Surgeon, Chairman, Medical Advisory Board, Dr. Rela Institute and Medical Center, Chennai. Dr. Georgie will talk about his relationship after her talk, so that, you know, he will tell you, you know, how he admires you and what an inspiration you are to all of us. So I invite you to deliver the Mrs. Malti Venkateshan, Mr. S.V. Venkateshan Tanker Foundation Memorial Lecture today. We are grateful that you're here with us and going to address us. You're an inspiration to all of us.
Thank you. A very good evening to all of you, and this is this tanker night. I've been to this event so many times in the past. It's always a feel-good factor. Every time I come to this program and go, there's a lot of positive energy flowing into me. I'm very, very glad to be here, to meet all of you after quite some time, and being able to give this lecture. I've met Mrs. Malati several times when she used to come to meet Dr. Georgie at Madras Medical Mission. Even at times when she had difficulty, you know, medically and coming to the hospital, she was such a pleasant person. Very, very, I mean, she was Dr. Georgie's good friend, but when she comes there, I was a junior doctor there, and we would go see her. She would treat each of us with such pleasantness, which was unbelievable. So I take this great opportunity to share my interesting experiences, things I've learned from, things I continue to learn from in the last few years. I mean, inspiration, when we say, I mean, from college days, we talk about having posters of, you know, somebody somewhere doing something out of the world, posting their posters in your room and getting inspired. But actually, does what they do relate to us, what they talk about? Maybe at times, a flicker of moment, not always. But what really relates to us is what we look around us, people who inspire us, actions that really are relevant to us, where we can apply in our life. And I've been very lucky in having several such people to get inspiration from, several such instances in my life. I'm going to be a storyteller today. Pardon me if I'm just ranting my personal experiences. But when I put up these slides for this talk, I enjoyed it totally. Looking back in time, looking at several interesting moments was really amazing for me. Thank you for that, actually. Just to give you an overview, so because most of what I talk would be at different time points of all of this. So I finished my medical college from Kilpauk Medical College, and then did a short stint of about 3 months in the erstwhile Tamil Nadu Hospital, which is now the Global Hospital. But I can tell you those 3 months have been the life-changing 3 months of my life. I met so many people there, and it was a whole new experience. I will talk about it. From there, I went on to do my surgical training in Madras Medical College, and then joined once again. A few of them who were at Tamil Nadu Hospital had then moved to Madras Medical Mission, and I joined them there. And that's the time I met Dr. Georgie Abraham also for the first time. Subsequently, I went for my transplant training to the US, and then from there for a short stint to Japan. Came back, joined as a consultant in transplants once again in Madras Medical Mission. for a short while, and then moved on and went to Global Hospital, where I spent close to about 7-8 years, 8 years. And then took up some interest in healthcare leadership and did a management course. Currently, I'm working at Rela Institute. I've also taken up some administrative posts there. So this is where, bottom line of all what we do is patient care. And for that, I think time and again, we, during our medical education, talk about diagnosis. Are we clinching the diagnosis when the patient comes to us? That is not patient care. And that I realized after I joined Tamil Nadu Hospital. Very inspiring 4 months that I spoke about. So patient care had so many facets to it. As I looked at it from the beginning of 1997 when I joined Tamil Nadu until today, there are so many aspects to it. And it's looked at as wholesome care, which I learned from my first mentor, Dr. Ravi Rajagopal, a vascular surgeon. This picture was taken during Dr. Georgie's daughter's wedding, actually, when I met him after nearly about 15 years. But my first job was under him as a junior medical officer. Post MBBS, when you finish, you join one particular department. I was interested in surgery. I joined the surgical department. He was the surgeon there. And I was looking forward to learning how to, sew things up or how to cut open things. But those were things which I could learn anytime and from anybody. What he taught me was how to take care of a patient as a whole. I'll quote one example. So he had done a very major surgery, a vascular surgery on a patient, and we go on rounds the next day. So he goes into the patient room and says, so when you talk about patient care, it's about, avoiding complications in the post-op, and in patients who've had vascular surgeries, blood clots, and you need to be careful about it. So he asked, have you started walking? And the patient said, no, I'm looking for the helper to come and walk me around. So he said, why helper? Come, let's do it. He said, Gomti, come on to the other side. So he was on one side, I was on the other side of the patient. We lifted the patient out of bed and walked. That was something I had never seen before. In medical college, you're taught physiotherapy day one. Who's going to do the physiotherapy? He said, come on, let's do it. And we started. So when the patient was about to step out of the bed, he didn't have his shoes or chappals to walk. So the patient was looking around, and Dr. Ravi Rajagopal looked around. It was on the corner of the room. He walked over, picked up that chappal and put it on the patient's feet and made him walk. This is something which really was an eye-opener to me. Not the vascular surgery I had assisted the day before, but how you really take care of the patient as a whole. So from there on, Dr. Georgie Abraham, his book says, My Patients, My God. But if you talk to any of his patients, they would say he is his God. That's because of the way, in Madras Medical Mission, we would have patients waiting for 2-3 hours. Because, scheduling, all of that was not so streamlined then. So they would wait. But I can recollect a patient who's now a very good friend of mine, who said, you wait for 3-4 hours, but the moment you step in, his 100% attention is on you. And you feel that moment is absolutely worth it. He has been so obsessive about patient care, obsessive to the point that he forgot so many times that I was a surgeon. He would ask me so many medical questions. I had just finished surgical training and I had joined Madras Medical Mission. I was pretty much the junior doctor in the medical and the surgical side. He would shoot questions to me. I wouldn't understand most of those, but actually they played a huge role in helping me take my exams for the US, because it involved a lot of medical knowledge. He would be traveling so much. He would have left like 4 days ago, traveled across the world, would be coming back. You would think somebody would have a jet lag. He would call and ask me, that patient's potassium was 6.2 when I left. What is it today? And I'm like, oh God, how does he remember? How does he expect me to remember? But that is Dr. Georgie Abraham. So be obsessive about patient care. And then Dr. Chinnakotla here. This is rounds at Baylor, where I did my fellowship. He is a surgeon from India who then subsequently went on to train in the US and is now settled there. He was possessive about patient care. when family members are possessive, you kind of, the person who they possess sort of feels nice. His patients would feel nice. The amount of possessiveness he had about patient care. Patients who had transplant would be admitted for delivery in the obstetric ward. When we go on rounds, he would pretty much take over the care totally. And you would think, why is he stepping onto somebody else's field? Doesn't matter. It's his patient, he has the first right. That's the kind of possessive care that he was doing. And so these are all such lovely things. When you are a patient, this is how you want your doctor to be. And I think these have been basic lessons, foundation over which everything else has built. Leadership qualities. I mean, everybody is so different in their leadership. Not everybody is a leader, and even among leaders, everybody has a different style. This picture, Dr. Georgie, do you remember? 2007. This is at Chennai Transplant Center, where I had returned after my fellowship in Madras Medical Mission. I am referring to Dr. Shanmuga Bhaskar, who's sitting here. Transplant surgeon, who in that 4-month period I told you when I had finished my MBBS and joined, he was one of the surgeons under whom I worked. It was fascinating. He had just returned from the US after finishing a fellowship in liver transplant. And that was a time in India when liver transplant, I mean, forget common people. Doctors wouldn't know what liver transplant is. And for me, after MBBS, I mean, is he talking something from the fiction or is he talking reality? It was such a moment, and he has inspired me in so many ways, not just getting into transplant, from even being able to think beyond the routine. So he would, on routine rounds, say, so Gomti, what are your plans? And I would say, oh, I'm going to do, probably this exam next week. And he says, no, I'm talking about the bigger picture. So he always made you think beyond, not just tomorrow's exam or this 6-month exam. He gave me a vision to move forward, think about something unique. And of course, I followed his lines, went on to do my fellowship and came back. His kind of leadership was very interesting. It's what we call the enabling leadership. He sets you up for success in all what you do. So, kidney transplant, I can quote again one thing where he trained me in kidney transplants, and then I went in the US and did liver transplants. So for a person who's in training, what we do at transplants, where we connect the kidneys, blood vessels onto an important blood vessel coming from the heart, is a nerve-wracking thing. And when you're going to do it the first time or the first few times, it really weighs on you. So there was about first few, I can't remember when, maybe 6 months, a year, 2 years with him. There was one day when we were getting ready to operate, when we sterilize ourselves and hands. And so as we were doing that, he just mentioned, so Gomti, today you will be on the right side of the table. Right side of the table is the person who's performing, the primary surgeon. We are just about to step in, and that's when he tells me I'm going to be the primary surgeon for the day. So if you know about it early, you would be so anxious and tensed up. Your performance may not be great. And that was the first day I did, and it was such a wonderful moment. So lots to learn from him. My fellowship director in the US, Edmund Sanchez. I compare my time during my fellowship to something like in a military stint. It was tough, very tough, grueling, but I think it was worth it, every bit of it. But as you go through it, you wonder, why are they so tough on you? I mean, after all, they're humans, you're humans. Why do they make it so difficult for you? He was one of those. To get an appreciation from him, forget it. That's not going to happen. But not being yelled at was another thing, actually. And so that's what we would aim for, not to be yelled at by him. But over a period of time, he was somebody who did his fellowship in the same program, so knew the nuances of the system so well. So every time we go on rounds, after a while, it became this subtle, I would say, challenge between him and the fellows training as to who knew more about the patient. That was the kind of challenge, and he always beat us to it. He always knew more about everything about the patient. Over a period, when you score a point, you start feeling good. Imagine patients. When your doctors are fighting to be the best in terms of knowing you, that's the kind of feeling he wanted everybody to have. And they also gave it to us when we did well during our fellowship days. This is, again, an interesting moment when we were 3 of us fellows. When we finish our first liver transplant as the primary surgeon in your fellowship, they make sure they take you out for dinner. Before that, a mail goes off in a very nice way saying you're one of the few in the world who has done this. You know, make you feel really important even as a fellow, and take you out for dinner and give you a plaque which says, I did it. I still have that plaque. That's my most prestigious plaque, I would say. And yeah, fellows are in front, and all the doyens. This is Dr. Clint Mom. They're all doyens in transplant who take the back seat. So wonderful way of celebrating your juniors' achievement also. Very important to recognize every member of the team. And transplant is such a wonderful field which has taught me that you cannot do anything by yourself alone in this field. It needs equal input from everybody involved. Currently, I'm working with Professor Mohammad Rela for about 13 years now. He's somebody who's really elevated liver transplant overall and liver transplant in India to such great heights that I think 10 years ago nobody would have ever imagined India would be in this position. He's currently the president of the International Liver Transplant Society. No Asian has been in this position so far, and he is not just people are now coming to us, meaning to India, to train to Professor Rela. So he leads by example. Even today, he is the last one to leave the hospital. I mean, when your boss is working so hard, anything of what we do is immaterial. So he went on to train in robotic surgery during the pandemic. I mean, somebody who's reached his height, you would normally think would not want to venture into anything new because there would be the ego stopping you. What if you don't do well? He conquered that. He is now the pioneer of liver transplant, living donor liver transplant, robotic in the world. And this, during the pandemic, he has achieved it. And interestingly, whatever a few of us in those years had to go abroad to train in transplant is no longer required because we have such robust fellowships in India now. In our center, we started the first university-approved liver transplant program in 2013. So we're nearly 9 years now into transplant program, having churned out so many very, very talented surgeons now that liver transplant can be started in many centers in the country. This is our set of first fellows who completed, and I had a small part to play in being the fellowship director, the Sanchez equivalent, but I'm not the commander-in-chief. I'm not as, I can't be like him too. But you know, we've tried to get similar systems in training here. In addition to all of this, patient care, there is something very important, human factors. Human factors we learn every day, not from doctors, not from everybody around us. I'm going to quote a few examples where it's actually become part of most of what we do, and Dr. Georgie was an important component in that. He would walk into the patient, first talk about, he would talk in Malayalam. I usually imitate that, I don't want to do it here. In that, what did you eat, or something like that. That would be his first statement. Forget about everything else, you know, how's your daughter, or stuff like that. I mean, that connects you to the patient immediately. You also, you're not going there as a mechanical person, just writing notes, what's your pulse rate, what's your heart rate. So the human factors, I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit about another passion of mine, which is running. So it started when I turned 40. Like most of us, it's become a bucket list, right? At 40, you got to start a marathon. So for me, it didn't start quite like that, but kind of got into me like that. It started with doing it for a cause, for a friend of mine who was going through breast cancer treatment. So this is Pinkathon, which was my first run in 2014, where it was done for breast cancer awareness, essentially as a support factor for my friend who was going through it. This was the subsequent year when she also ran with me. So it was essentially for that I started doing, but subsequently I found that I still enjoy running just for completing runs and, you know, running at this pace or that. But when you add some more factor to it, like running for a cause. This is a cause which has been close to my heart, running for special children. And that year, I've actually come to several of you asking for contributions for this. And so that run, I could be the top fundraiser, and, you know, Tanker Foundation's Brandwell ambassador is also there, as, you know, to give away the award. But the interesting part, even in the current run, the same group was there. But the hero in all of this is not him or any of us, is this lady. She runs a school for special children for nearly 30 years now. And lots of time, patients who have special children go on to do a lot of work. She's somebody who got involved in it and has done a lot of work over the 30 years. So the reason I'm quoting this is because we learn from a lot of people in their day-to-day work in terms of the human factors that's involved. And as doctors, when we see patients who need a lot more of that, I think we should be more liberal in giving it rather than going to the other extreme. And I put down something called Lessons from Danny Thompson. It's a patient who's, I still remember the name. I know it's not right to quote patient's name here, but this is somebody in the US when I went, my first 3 months into my fellowship, I had to do a procedure, ended up with a complication on Mr. Danny Thompson. He ended up in the ER the same night because of that complication. I was on duty. I go to see him in the ER and realize he's had a complication. The wife was a nurse. She hated me, quite naturally. So the next few days when he was in the ward, when we go on rounds, she had told the doctors, that doctor is not stepping into our room. So I would not be allowed to step into the room. But the team took care of me so well. They shielded me so well. They took care of the patient's needs also. So I was never going into that room. But there could be days when I'm the only one on duty and he's in the ward. So we had to get into this slowly understanding each other. And the patient stayed in the hospital for about 2 months for multiple other complications he faced. Subsequently, when he had another procedure to be done, the chief of interventional radiology did the procedure. And he had a complication then. Unfortunate. So 1 month after that, when I went on rounds, he called me actually. He said, Doc, why don't you come inside? And he's mentioned, it's probably not what you did that day. It's just that I've been unlucky. I mean, that for somebody to say when he's faced so much was really an eye-opener. I think all of us have to understand that people go through phases. We need to empathize and stick to what we do in the righteous way. And I'm sure at some point, we will also feel better about it. Of course, in all of this, it's not been toiling and, military work. I've enjoyed several moments. I continue to enjoy every day of my life. I'll start from here. When as a fellow, you go on donor retrieval runs, you have this 5-seater chartered flight in which you go. It was fantastic to be able to go in a 5-seater flight, however tired you are. There have been days when I would sit next to the pilot and, because it's just a 5-seater, in our landing, it was fantastic. And those pilots used to get food for us. They know how starved we were as fellows because we were working around the clock. By the time you go for retrieval and come, they'll have fries and stuff in the flight so you could eat and sleep. So very nice moments, and this is probably my most cherished moment in terms of my fellowship. Thomas Tarzell, who's the father of liver transplant, who did the first liver transplant and several transplants in the world. His fellow, Clint Mom, was my boss, and this moment was during a fellows symposium, and I don't think even in my rarest of dreams I could have thought this would happen. This is when Bala, he's one of our transplant patients, this is quite recently. He had a liver transplant with us. 4 years later, he had his transplant by crowdfunding, by the benevolence of several people. 4 years later, he comes as a delivery boy for Domino's Pizza to my house. It was amazing. It was amazing because he's back to having a normal life, being able to do what he wants. It was really a fantastic moment. I said, Bala, what are you doing here? So this is a little child who had combined liver and kidney transplant for a condition called primary hyperoxaluria. That's such a rare condition and very difficult to handle those patients, and it affects very early in life, and they end up needing dialysis, and the fault lies with the liver, so they end up needing a liver and a kidney transplant. This child is 7 years old. Before the transplant, could not walk, was so withdrawn, was not talking to anybody. And this is about 2 months post, is able to come and sit. So moments which really make you feel it's worth all it. This is the award which I got last year because of several well-wishers. And I would once again say, Thank you very much. I would once again say I've been very lucky in my life. Very lucky to be at the right time, at the right place. Right when transplant started picking up in India is when I finished my fellowship and came. There have been several talented people who came before me, like Dr. Shanmugha Bhaskar, but just that the time was not ripe for the transplants to take off then. Several others who are so good who are now finishing and coming, but luckily I got to be the first woman to come back and do it, so I get this first. Nobody can get the first, you see, after that, so it's interesting that. But so transplants is a very nice field, growing field, and I've been part of the cadaver transplant program since 2007 when a lot of norms were formulated, and from there on in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, it's been a big upswing for transplants, for cadaver transplants, for liver transplants in India. Lucky to be part of it. So there has been a lot of changes going on in the cadaver transplant. Currently, we are probably, a lot of support from media throughout. That's what's made transplant a success. It's the work of several people over years, like Mohan Foundation, Professor Georgie, Dr. Georgie was part of that, and several other people who worked years together. But everything kind of has fallen in place over the last decade or so. And currently, we are probably the second largest liver transplant program in the whole of the world. India has numbers, which is probably the largest now. And overall, in terms of transplant, we are third only to the US and China and India. So we are really now at the point when we cannot just be doing transplants alone, but need to do something more, something beyond. We've now received international recognition, liver transplant. This is on the cover of Liver Transplantation Journal, where they talk about transplants in India. But can we really stop with that? We've been very happy. I think this is something which Mrs. Malati's daughter also mentioned, that I do have a special interest in making sure that we don't stop with surgery or transplantation. What we really are battling is lifestyle-related diseases, be it kidney failure, be it liver failure. With all of this, these are all simple things, but all of us have the role to play as an individual in curbing this, as medical professionals of any specialty, and definitely as transplant professionals. All of us have a big role to play. Very often we see, I'm going to refer to liver a little bit more over the next slides on this, we see fatty liver report. Oh, that's okay. That's not okay. We need to wake up and say, let's not normalize this. So we really have to work on lifestyle-associated diseases, because there's no point taking care of the problem after it's hit us really hard. This is just to quote what happens in liver transplant. This is our own data from 2009 to 14 and 14 to 19. Commonly, when we say liver disease, people think alcohol. That's what everybody says, alcohol is what the... This is our set of data over what's happened. This is over 1,000 patients, we look at it. So alcohol was not the primary cause even in the primary period. It was only about 22% were affected because of alcohol. In the second period, which is 14 to 19, alcohol is 18. But look at this. This is NASH, which is basically non-alcoholic fatty liver, which is basically related to lifestyle-related disease. And that's 42% of the patients for whom we transplant. This is self-inflicted in a way. If we call alcohol self-inflicted, this is also self-inflicted. But who is telling the seriousness of it? I think we have a bigger responsibility to talk to people about this. And there are only some patients who understand it even post-transplant. They might have had a transplant for liver disease, for fatty liver. Go back to fatty liver. How does that be? How can you justify that? Some patients really wake up to it. This is, again, I go back to both my passions of transplant, post-transplant life, and running. So this is Dr. Georgie's patient, Sanju. We transplanted him in 2003, I think, 3 or 5. Anyway, so there was one half marathon when I was doing the last 2 kilometers. Usually you're sweating it out, and I see somebody cross me and say, hey, doc, come, let's run. And that's Sanju. Sanju is not running a transplant marathon. He is running a regular, meaning meant for public. He is running a half marathon. So this moment at the end was worth any pace, anything, But not everybody. So this bunch of patients, post-transplant patients who represented India in the World Transplant Games, which is held every 2 years. there has been very less representation from India, but it's picking up over the last 2 years. I've been talking to Vivek also, Dr. Vivek Cute, about it, that we need to really work in a big way on rehabilitating patients post-transplant so that they don't go back to the same fatty liver and problems. And this is not happening currently. This is an alarming factor, not in India, world over, that post-transplant patients end up with obesity, with diabetes, with all the problems. We need a big call for this. We need to do a lot more. And when we talk about wholesome patient care and everything we're talking about, if we don't address this, there is no point in transplanting them. So I am going to request the ISOT president, the secretary, all of you are here, to take this up in a big way, to work against lifestyle-related disease, to create a movement so that we really understand the enormity of it. Thank you very much.
Does anybody want to ask this beautiful doctor any questions? So I just wanted to read a little note on our invitation. Don't think of organ donations as giving up part of yourself to keep a total stranger alive. It's really a total stranger giving up almost all of themselves to keep part of you alive. So I think you have kept a lot of people alive.
Thank you.
And you're a big inspiration to all of us. I request Dr. Georgie to come and say a few words about his favorite person. Come on.
Good evening. I have no superlatives to describe my dear friend Gopati Narasimha. Dear parents, in-laws, Jayant Murali IPS, and my friends, and I am the president of the Indian Society of Transplantation. My secretary is, where is my secretary? He is here. And Gomati goes beyond and above any woman surgeon in this country, as well as the recognition she got in this world to take things forward, to serve the humanity. We have 1.4 million people in this country. And liver disease is emerging as a major issue in taking care of our population, because the food we eat, the lack of exercise, everything takes a toll on me. Even I have fatty liver. I get it checked frequently to make sure that Gomati told me, Dr. Georgie, be careful about your, at some point in time, I may need a liver transplant. So that's the reason why I am holding Gomati, so that she doesn't leave me at all. So now, she is an incredibly fantastic role model. I have seen Gomati. I call her at least once every month or once in 2 months to clear my doubts. And Gomati is always there to help me. And as said, I thought that she would one day become a rising star in the world in terms of transplantation and transplant services to the community. And we are very happy that she came back to India to serve the country, to take care of the people in Tamil Nadu and also elsewhere. So, Gomati, I don't want to read all these things, but let me have a few things about you. She is the course coordinator in establishing the first university-approved transplant fellowship program in India for surgeons under the leadership of Professor Mohammad Rela. When I was in a transplant meeting in many years ago in America, some of the Indian colleagues whom I knew and the American colleagues who are white Americans came and said, from India we have a person who is doing a fellowship in transplantation at Baylor. Her name is Gomati Narasimha. I said she was my friend. So they were all very happy that one of Gomati's friend is talking to them. And Gomati was in Baylor at that time, and then she came back. So she has been instrumental in the recognition of the key role played by transplant coordinators in the field of transplantation, serves as a faculty for transplant coordinators, helped promote liver transplantation in neighboring countries. She already said that. And the most important accolade she had first woman multi-organ transplant surgeon of India, recipient of several awards from surgical societies, key awards, Young Investigator Award during surgical residency from Association of Surgeons of India in 2001, Young Investigator Award from the Asian Society of Transplantation in 2004.
That was with you.
Oh, with me. So, Best Paper Award, International Liver Transplant Society Conference in Seoul, Korea in 2014, Vocational Excellence Award from Rotary Club. So, she has been awarded at Buenos Aires. I was also supposed to go there, but it was a long journey during COVID time. I was just recovering from COVID. So Vivek was very kind enough to give me an opportunity to speak from India about transplant-related issues at Buenos Aires. And so she received the prestigious award of Women Leader in Transplantation at Buenos Aires in September 2020. Gomati, God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So thank you. So we did it ulta. Okay. So your CV was read out afterwards because I wanted Dr. Georgie to, inspire all of us. And he's the one who inspired you as well, I'm sure. So thank you. So now we get into the 30th Annual Charity and Awards Night. So the function is going to start now, the awards function. So we'll start with a prayer song, again by Sudha Rao, our advisory member, who's been singing the prayer song for the past 30 years. Come.
I've chosen a hymn, which I learned in school again, and I'm just singing a couple of verses from that, and it embodies what Tanker Foundation and all its enablers are all about. So, did you hear the loving word? Pass it on, like the singing of a bird. Pass it on, let its music live and grow. Let it cheer another's woe. You have reaped what others sow. Pass it on. Have you had a kindness shown? Pass it on. 'Twas not given for thee alone. Pass it on. Hold thy lighted lamp on high. Be a star in someone's sky. He may live who else would die. Pass it on. Pass it on. Oh, pass it on.
Thank you so much. Our chief guest is here today, Malini Parthasarathy. You remember in school, we used to sing this song. Right, we are from Vidyodaya school and we used to sing this song. So maybe if someone can remove this screen. Yes, please, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
After we remove that, right?
Yeah. You just move it. So we'll start with the lighting of the Kuttuvalakku. I request our chief guest, Dr. Malini Parthasarathy, Chairperson, the Hindu Group Publishing Private Limited. Dr. Georgie Abraham, Lata Pandirajan, our trustee. No, well, you are going to light a little bit today. You've lit so many lamps. Here, it's right here. The Valakku, sorry, the Kuttuvalakku. Dr. Gomati, can you also come? And of course, we have our Tamil Nadu DGP, Dr. Sailendra Babu, and former DGP, Dr. Jayan Murli also. Mrs. Manjula Kalyan, our awardee. I think we'll all have to touch each other and light it. But you have lit a lot of lives for everybody. Thank you. I think Raju George is here somewhere. It'll be nice if you come up, Raju. Yes. Oh. Come. Come and sit on stage at least. Come. Thank you. I request our chief guest, Dr. Malini Parthasarathy, to come to the stage. She is the chairperson, Hindu Group Publishing Private Limited. Come this way. This way? Come. Dr. Georgie Abraham. Lata Pandyarajan. Is Kavya Abraham here from Aban? Come. Yes, this is Malini. Come. Yeah. Is Kavya Abraham here? Come please, Kavya and Raju. No, we want you on stage because you are our biggest enablers, donors. Come. Please. Kavya, please come. It's important for us. So Kavya is from the Aban family. Please come. No. No, I insist you come because you are our baby advisory member. And Mr. Raju is from the KV George family. So I request Vasanthi and Rukmani to give the mementos. I think we'll have to honor only our chief guest today because the rest of all are tanker family. So, come. Somebody take and give this. Yeah. Doctor, please take the mug out. You're with the chairperson of Hindu, so we have to get the mug with her face as well. So this is a special mug which Dr. Georgie designed. It talks about our patients, all the people involved in tanker, and some of our activities. So thank you. So I request Dr. Georgie Abraham, our founder trustee, to welcome everybody.
Good evening. On behalf of Tanker Foundation trustees, staff members, advisors, and all the well-wishers of Tanker Foundation, I extend you all a warm welcome. I'm pleased that never before we had two DGPs sitting for our Tanker Foundation annual day. We are all happy that these two DGPs, one has just retired, and Sir Sailendra Babu, Dr. Sailendra Babu is the current DGP of Law and Order. Why they are sitting here, you might wonder. Tanker's initiatives are three. One is to provide service to the people who belong to the lower socioeconomic status through dialysis. Number two is early detection and prevention. Number three is to promote research. So for early detection and prevention, we thought that it is important that we should protect the police force of our state and later on our country from the diseases which are common among common people, both men and women. So we have involved, with the help of our chief police officers, the DGPs, an initiative to give BP apparatus to all the police stations in Tamil Nadu. And I'm extremely thankful to all the people who have supported from India as well as initiative, and we are doing that so that it is reported a few months ago, study done in India saying that 21% of the women and 24% of the men do have high blood pressure. And in Tamil Nadu, my own student and who is a leading diabetologist, Dr. Anjana Mohan, published that 35% of the Tamil Nadu population do have high blood pressure. So with high blood pressure, the onus is to protect the heart, the brain and the kidney. So police force being all the time in the field, 24 hours a day, and during rain and during sunlight, they protect us. So we took this initiative and brought these respected gentlemen, one run 4 marathons, that is Jayant. Jayant, can you just stand up please? To raise funds for this. And our respected Dr. Sailendra Babu had a cycling expedition going on one of the most rainy days in Chennai. And when he returned to Hotel Savera, he told me, oh, this is the most beautiful day. You cannot, even if you pay 1,000 crores of rupees, you cannot produce a rain and then have cycling in that rain. So that is one of the initiatives we have. I would also like to state that the media has been supporting us for all these years. And we would also like to provide BP apparatus and also the techniques to check the BP apparatus in the media offices, both in visual and print media, so that we can slowly get into them as well as to help them to prevent or to detect high blood pressure in our population. So, as I said that Tanker is known regionally, nationally and internationally. This was all possible because of the support we received over the last 30 years. And the 2 people who are sitting there and who are no more with us, whom we lost, have been robust supporters in taking Tanker forward. I also have to mention one more person who is sitting just behind our DGP, Shanti Rajmohan, who is a friend of mine, a teacher of mine, because I learn every day from her. She has been on home peritoneal dialysis for 20 years. There is nobody in South Asia who has been doing that. And Shanti is a fighter. She goes to every office in the ministry in Tamil Nadu and for her rights. And Shanti, I worship you because you teach me lessons. Because how to deal with people, how to deal with an illness, how to take care of a patient, because these are all experiences, as Gomati said, that we learn in our life. Shanti is known to both Gomati as well as me. Thank you for coming here to grace the occasion. Then we have all the recipients who are come from various parts of the country, from north to south, from east to west, who are the pillar of kidney disease and transplantation in this region. Gomati has already alluded to that, and along with Gomati, we want to take this forward and to make sure that we lead the country in terms of already leading, but we lead further in the country in terms of transplantation of different organs so that we can take it forward. And Tanker, as I said that, I extend you all a warm welcome, and these 30 years have gone just like that, you know, I still remember, and I have also grown 30 years. So I have more gray hair than white hair, you know, than black hair now. So I thank all of you for giving us this opportunity to serve the poor, and we are just the catalyst, and we look forward to you. And God has blessed us with everything in our life and in our organization. Thank you.
So the next on the agenda is to give you a quick update about Tanker. We started, it's our 30th year this year. We started in June 1993. And we started in a very, very small way because Dr. Georgie, myself and a lot of like-minded people got together and felt that we needed to help underprivileged people with kidney ailments. Dr. Georgie looked after my mother-in-law. So I was blessed to have him as the doctor because he gave my mother-in-law back to us for a few years. So we're very grateful to him for that. So we started in a very, very small way. At that time, it was only our family and friends who were supporting us. And gradually over a period of time, a lot of people came forward to help us. I have to say here that Mr. K.V. George, Dr. Georgie's father-in-law, he housed our first dialysis center for 15 years in his house, completely free of cost, and we are so grateful for that. And also to my father-in-law, Mr. B.C. Kumaraswamy, for having had tanker office rent-free for 20 years in our house. Here I have to recognize my dear husband, who used to sell tickets, when we had our fundraisers. I mean, if Venki wants, you can stand up and say hi. But, every story that he says is about how he had to answer all the phone calls and tell people, 2 tickets? 2 tickets? Okay. I'll build you a balcony if you're going to buy 100 tickets, because they asked whether there was a balcony. This story I've heard several times now. So, with small beginnings and everybody coming forward to help us, we've reached a point where we have 14 dialysis centers. We have 220 dialysis machines. We have 8 in Chennai, along with Greater Chennai Corporation, 3 in Chennai with other organizations, including Rotary, and 3 outside of Chennai in Madurai, Vellore, and Tirupur. We provide around 8,000 dialysis every month, of which 7,770 are free of cost, thanks to the Chief Minister's Comprehensive Health Insurance Scheme, Greater Chennai Corporation, and other valuable donors. We treat around 800 patients every month in our dialysis centers. Here I have to say that we have to thank not only our family and friends, but we have to thank the Rotary, the Freemasons, the Roundtablers, the Ladies Circle, Inner Wheel, Lions Club, and many other individuals and corporates who've always been supporting us over the years. We also have 2 dialysis machines in MGM in Pondicherry. Due to Dr. Georgie's inspiration and insistence, we started the first HIV dialysis facilities in India, because he felt marginalized people should be respected and provided dialysis. We also support the Kerala Kidney Research Foundation in Kerala. We have also donated a lot of machines and money to them. Because Georgie went to the Northeast and he found that it was underserved, we also helped in setting up a hospital, a dialysis unit in Imphal in Manipur, in the Catholic Mission Hospital. In Pillar Hospital, Port Blair, Andaman Islands. So wherever Dr. Georgie goes and he sees a need, then it's tanker's duty to raise the funds and see that, we set up the dialysis unit. And we've also, this happened in Tanzania when he went there and found there was no, I'm not praising him, but it's just that, that's how he is. And we, set up in Tanzania also, we donated a machine. We've also helped in Lawley Hospital in Kunur. We've helped we are going to help in Kotagiri, in Attapadi, in Dindigul, and in Nagarkoil. A lot of people are asking us to help them set up dialysis units, and we are going to do our best to see to that. We also would like to tell you this is a very, very important arm of Tanker, the awareness and screening. Because so many people die of kidney failure in India, and it can be prevented. And of course, the cliched term is prevention is better than cure, but it is important to see that we do that. And here I have to recognize a very, very special head of the Tanker, the TAP wing, Tanker Awareness and Prevention Program, our advisory member, Mrs. Rajalakshmi Ravi, who has done and reached out to over 2 lakh people. So thank you, Raji, and done almost 1,400 awareness programs and screened over 37,000 individuals for early detection of kidney disease. And here I have to also recognize her team. Raji, Deepa, Ramapriya, Alagamalai, if you can stand up. We would like to recognize you for the hard work that you have done, especially after the pandemic, running around and creating awareness through your camps. So thank you so much. I have a little bit of a list where I want to say thank you to all our advisory members. Very quickly, Sudha Lakshmi Rao for being with us every year, right from day one, and being one of our biggest contributors, and also singing for us every year. And her husband sells bread in Nilgiris, raises funds and gives us money for dialysis. Mohan Rao, thank you. Of course, Rajalakshmi Ravi for all the awareness and prevention. Rajalakshmi and Parvati Kumaraswamy my mother-in-law, my sisters-in-law, who also have been helping Tanker right from day one, and they continue to do so. Dr. Gopalakrishnan, nephrologist, who's the head of nephrology in GH. He is always there to help us and our patients. Dr. Muruganathan in Tirupur. Padma is was Dr. Georgie's right-hand person, left-hand person, everything. So Padma was the person who really inspired all of us. Kamala Krishna Swami, every time you have any program, Georgie will say something and she'll be the first one to offer donations along with Sudha Lakshmi Rao. Bharat Raman, lawyer. Rohini Menon, who is in charge of our HR, she really has control and sees that our staff the Tanker family get the best deal and everything is the best. Sumitra Ghosh, who's not here with us. Dr. Julia Dasan, Dr. Lakshmi Shankaran, who has been doing counseling now. Please stand up so that people can see. During the pandemic, she actually did a lot of programs to, help our patients, our staff, and she's got a lot of things in her mind to do. Saraswati Sadashivan, who's our big donor. Nikhila Sridhar, yes. And Vidya. Vidya, I think because of you, we managed to raise funds for the BP machine, so thank you so much. Our enablers, Rukmani, Usha Balu, Lavanya, Venki, Ranjit, Mohan Rao, and so many more, each and every one of you. And Neelakantan, our compere, who is not here today. Let's come later. Dr. Georgie always interrupts me. Tell me finally. I want to recognize Geeta and Vasanti because they've just been through the pandemic and everything, along with all our managers, along with all our angels on earth from admin, awareness, and all our units have done selfless service and raised so much of funds and done so much for Tanker and our patients. The Savera family, every year in and year out, they host us because every year we have a fabulous hall, a fabulous dinner, and any program that we have. Shiva and Shiva, thank you so much. The press and the media, our sponsors for the awards, our awardees, each and every one of you. Please forgive me if I've forgotten anybody, but the list is too long. And our chief guest is, a special person who wants to say a lot of words to us and inspire us and then give the awards away. So I think I will now finish and say thank you all for being here today to each and every one of you. Chitra, I forgot to recognize you. Thank you, Chitra, for doing all our social media and everything. So if you hear about Tanker, Kausi is there for IFKF, Rati, each and every one of you is our enabler. And I'm grateful to all of you for being part of the Tanker family. So now I request Lata Pandirajan, our trustee, to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Malini Parthasarathy.
Very good evening to all of you and warm welcome, ma'am. We're very, very happy to have you with us this evening. Dr. Malini Parthasarathy is the chairperson of the Hindu group since July 2020. She was formerly the editor of the Hindu newspaper, the group's influential flagship publication between 2013 and 2016. Earlier, she was executive editor of the paper from 1996 to 2004. Prior to that, she was a special correspondent at the paper's National Bureau in New Delhi, reporting on political and international developments. During her tenure as editor, the Mumbai edition of the Hindu was launched on November 2015, a major landmark in the 143-year-old history of the newspaper, as the paper made a striking entry into India's financial capital, a century and more after its launch in 1878. With the launch of this edition in Mumbai, the Hindu was able to establish a nationwide presence, with an edition already existing in New Delhi, the national capital. Dr. Parthasarathy has been a political journalist for 3 decades and more, writing news stories and editorials on major themes in Indian politics, particularly on the Hindu nationalism, the changing context of the Indian political landscape, including the decline of parties as a flag bearer of secular nationalism. She founded the Hindu Center for Politics and Public Policy, a think tank intended as a credible and independent platform for an exploration of ideas and public policies with the aim of rebuilding public faith in India's democratic process. At the time of the center's launch, public confidence in India's democratic institutions and political processes was at an all-time low. She was the director of the center at its inception. She is deeply interested in themes relating to the preservation of the civic and secular character of India's nationhood, especially as she believes it's a critical prerequisite for the survival of India as a democracy and as a nation. She has pursued this theme actively in her journalistic writings. Highlights of her journey as a reporter and editor include a series of interviews with Indian Prime Ministers, VP Singh, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao, and Mr. I.K. Gujral. She's also done interesting interviews with many top leaders in the world. She has an MS in journalism from Columbia University's Graduate School of Journalism. After graduation from the Columbia Journalism School, she was briefly a visiting journalist at the Washington Post before joining the Hindu. She received a PhD from the Center for Political Studies, JNU, in 2008. Her doctoral thesis on majoritarianism and Indian nationhood was an exploration of Hindu cultural nationalism through the decades and its strong challenge to the construction of India's national identity as civic and secular in orientation based on citizenship rather than the community. She has been a member of the governing board of Auroville for 8 years. As chairperson of the Hindu group, she is actively steering a journey of digital transformation of the editorial products now. She's received several accolades, several professional awards. The First Bank of India Award for Excellence in Journalism, Haldigati Award for Excellence in Journalism presented by the Maharana Mewar Foundation, Pudhiya Thalaimurai Shakti Award for Leadership, Sri Shankara TV Navashakti Award, Columbia University Graduate School of Journalism Distinguished Alumni Award. And she was just telling me that she knows Lata right from school days, right from 7. Yeah, so I think she's very happy to be with us, and we're also very happy, ma'am, to have you with us this evening. Thank you.
So Lata Pandirajan asked me, I have to read everything. She's done so much. Of course, Malini from there saying, why are you asking her to read all this? But, you know, Malini, you deserve it. Thank you for being with us. Please do address us.
It's a real privilege to be here, and I feel very humbled by the kind of work that's been done here. Nothing, I mean, journalism is not even a bit compared to the groundwork that you all do. So, to start with, I'm very amazed and impressed by Dr. George Abraham, my own friend, Lata Kumar Swami, whom we used to call Ananta Lakshmi back in the day. And then respected Tanker Foundation trustees, advisory members, donors, enablers, members of the team. It's very noteworthy that the Tanker Foundation has been doing incredible service for the last 30 years. And what I think is very noteworthy is what is really most challenging and elusive for most policymakers is public health and the manifold challenges that keep proliferating in this area. And I think it's quite, you're all people, I'm just speaking as a layperson, you're all specialists. But I'm saying the kidney is clearly, everyone's self-evident, very key for our metabolism and removing all kinds of, extra stuff and balancing body fluids, releasing hormones for blood pressure, producing and helping regulate the production of red blood cells. And it's quite alarming, I think, I saw a paper by George Abraham, that chronic kidney disease is a major public health challenge, and it's quite shocking to hear that population over 7.8 million people are living with chronic kidney disease. And the estimate that almost 2.5 lakh people die of kidney failure in India every year, and the third largest killer after malignancy and heart disease, a staggering implication for healthcare. So I think it's obvious that makes it imperative more resources, public and private, go towards addressing this major challenge of what you call CKD. So that's why I think in this regard, Tanker Foundation really raised the bar remarkably. The non-profit charity, I think, started with Georgie and Lata Kumar Swami, and I think been bolstered and held up by a very dedicated and committed team of persons working round the clock to contribute meaningfully to healthcare, research training, advocacy connected to kidney disease. From what another major discovery is this, that CKD sufferers primarily among the underprivileged section. And so it's very admirable that any sort of a charity organization like Tanker has given all its attention, resources to providing immediate relief, health relief and sustenance backward. So making dialysis affordable, using subsidized dialysis units, she says 14 now, with 220 dialysis machines. I think that's extremely laudable and it's an impressive achievement. Foundation also apparently you provide financial assistance for underprivileged patients for transplantation and medical costs of the care. Again, it's another remarkable feature because it shows that you're taking all care of all the aspects of kidney welfare. And it's very laudable that you've started looking at transplants, organ donation, we've heard from you, organ donation disease. And trustee doctors have been part of government-approved multi-organ disease donor transplant. So increasing awareness of the need to raise kidney donation in this country is a must. And from what I can see, it's still yet to catch on. So it's very important that this advocacy of organ donation is really stepped up and amplified. I'm glad to see that the Tanker Foundation is already way ahead in grasping these challenges. I mean, you've caught on much earlier than most people. I'd like to place on record that the work of the foundation is inspirational and awesome. As is a dedicated year-round commitment of the team who put their best to raise the awareness of healthcare in such a critical area as chronic kidney disease, and have been doing their best round the clock to inspire or to ameliorate the sufferings of people with CKD. Once again, I salute the management, the trustees, team members for tireless and visionary service to critical area of public health in India. And I know there's tremendous public goodwill and appreciation of the work done by the Tanker Foundation and its volunteers. People are very aware that people are very appreciative that you made it your life mission to spread the awareness and ameliorate of CKD and kidney failure and ameliorating the suffering of countless of patients, particularly the underprivileged. Please keep this going. We're all with you.
So Malini, you're an inspiration to us. You've supported us right from day one. The Hindu has been our, supporter, along with other media. So, who's? Oh yes, Mr. Anandakrishnan is here. So thank you, Mr. Anand from Hindu. Yes. Yeah, he inspirational. Thank you. I also want to recognize Mrs. Sita Krishnan, who is here today. I think she is a person who started donating a few thousand rupees 30 years ago, and then her children have started giving in lakhs now, so we're grateful for that. Another donation, Mrs. Rajalakshmi Ravi is giving 50,000 towards patient medication, so thank you, Raji. Of course, each and every one is precious to us. Thank you so much. Every paisa counts. So now we'll get into the awards function. I have to say that we are so privileged and so honored to have our Tamil Nadu DGP with us, Dr. Sailendra Babu. Thank you so much. If you would come up and, do you mind? We are going to make you stand. Is that okay? And Dr. Jayant Murli, also a former DGP, who, I'll tell you, these are not, they are cool guys who've been really raising funds for Tanker. Okay? So Dr. Jayant Murli has run several marathons for us, and without knowing much of cycling, he cycled because Dr. Sailendra Babu was cycling. And you know, and Dr. Sailen Babu, of course, was just so spontaneous and saying that he said, shall I do 150 kilometers? I said, no, doctor, just do 100 kilometers, because I was scared, you know, about this cycling, and it was raining at that time. So we just wanted to honor them. Of course, they don't want us to say thank you, but I just feel it's a small token of love and appreciation and gratitude to you. So Vasanthi is the one who ran behind everybody during the fundraising program. So I request Vasanthi to read out the little citation.
Tamil Nadu Kidney Research Foundation recognizes with deep appreciation your selfless service and dedication, DGP Dr. Shailendra Babu, IPS, in participating and completing the 100-kilometer rally. I shouldn't say participating, for leading and completing the cycling rally to raise funds for the BP machine project for our Tamil Nadu police personnel. We truly are blessed to have you with us. Our grateful thanks to your dedication and commitment. Thank you for being with Tanker on this, our 30th annual charity and awards night. Thank you. And I should read, Tamil Nadu Kidney Research Foundation recognizes with deep appreciation your selfless service and dedication, DGP Dr. Jayant Murli, IPS, in running 4 full marathons and participating and completing the cycle rally to raise funds for the BP machine project and for a dialysis machine. We are truly blessed to have you with us. Our grateful thanks for your dedication and commitment. Thank you for being with Tanker on this 30th annual charity and awards night. Thank you.
So does DGP, would you like to say a few words to us? Doctor? Few words? Yeah. Literally few words.
So it's a great job you are doing, and it's a great honor to associate with this with Tanker Foundation. Jayant Murli has been running many marathons, and I had only one opportunity to cycle with you. Any more cycling or any other efforts from our side, we are much more willing. That we already have given something. I should live up to this expectation. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
For World Kidney Day, we'll do another rally. Dr. Shailendra Babu, just a little. Thank you. So now I asked Dr. Jayant Murli. I've known him for years. I used to watch him jogging on the treadmill, and I used to wonder who this guy is jogging so much. And now I'm grateful that he's jogged for us and done so much of jogging. Thank you.
Dr. Georgie Abraham, President of the Tanker Foundation, President and founder of the Tanker Foundation, members of the Tanker Foundation, recipients of the awards today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely honored to be here today to receive the award. And Tanker Foundation, I must say, is doing a wonderful job. We all know that the kidney disease is rampant in our society, especially in India. We nearly have about 2 lakh patients are waitlisted for receiving kidneys, but we only have 15,000 donors. But Dr. Georgie and all of them are doing a wonderful job. For the recipients who come here and the doctors who come here, I must say there's an X prize in America of $50 million for whoever comes up with a solution for the CKD. In fact, now a lot of scientists are working on xenotransplantation. Now, last year, the pig kidney was transplanted in a patient. We have artificial kidneys with hemofilters, which are also on the anvil. And apart from that, there are regeneration of the kidneys, the stem cell regeneration. These things are going at a rapid pace. And in 3 years' time, we're going to have kidneys which are going to be available, and we don't have to depend on the donors. So I really appreciate and laud the Kidney Foundation for the wonderful job they're doing, and I'll be very happy to support them in the future endeavors. Thank you very much.
So, doctor is a writer too. Both our DGPs are PhD, guys, men. And we are blessed that we have their support and have them as DGPs. And now Dr. Jayant Murli has written several books. He's an inspiration and for people who want to run. So he has actually donated some books to us so that people can buy it, read it, and gain a lot from it. So, thank you, former DGP Dr. Jayan Murli and our Tamil Nadu DGP Dr. Shailendra Babu for being with us today. Thank you so much. So we go into our awards now. The KV George Kotukulam Memorial Tanker and Kerala Kidney Research Foundation Young Investigator Award. I request Raju George of the KV George Kotukulam. He's Mr. KV George's son, who will say a few words about the award and why it was instituted. Come. Okay, I'll say it. I will come and say.
Raju is here. He's my brother-in-law, KV George's son. Many years ago, we thought that there should be support research in our country in kidney disease. Because, you know, kidney disease patients, when they go through their disease progress, they feel that, you know, they are being sort of neglected in the community because of the cost involved. So we wanted to encourage research in kidney disease, and this initiative we started from 2008 onwards to recognize the best young investigator in the country. And Vivek Kute was, he is also one of the recipients, earlier recipients, and we have the current recipient here. And my brother-in-law Raju would say a few words about that, and then we give the awards.
Good evening. I'm very happy to be here with you on this 30th annual day. It's very thrilling to think that I have also here on the first annual day. Over these last 30 years, all I can say is I have seen how the Tamil Nadu Kidney Research Foundation has grown and even spawned the Kerala Research Foundation and touched the lives of tens of thousands of people from Kerala up to Meghalaya. My father, Mr. KV George, was a good entrepreneur, and every activity of his had a philanthropic agenda to it. And therefore, we are happy that we are associated during this period of 30 years. And we wish Dr. Georgie, Lata Kumarasamy, and their team all the best in serving the nation and the people over the next few years. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Raju. So this KV George Kotukulam Memorial Tanker Foundation and Kerala Kidney Research Foundation Young Investigator Award is going to Dr. Manish Balwani. So I request him to come on stage. And we'll read the citation and hand it over to him.
Dr. Manish Ramesh Balwani, in presenting this citation, we applaud your spirit of enthusiasm and commitment in the path-breaking research you have done in uncontrolled hypertension with kidney dysfunction, a typical hemolytic uremic syndrome. Your research into uncontrolled hypertension and renal dysfunction leading to HUS gives hope to all young and middle-aged individuals on hemodialysis. Your expertise in organ donation policies and preventive and affordable nephrology is truly valuable and admirable. You have presented and published several research papers in national and international forums and journals and won several awards for your research. You're a founding member of the Kidney Transplant Program, started at the Government Medical College and Super Specialty Hospital in Nagpur. We salute your enthusiasm, hard work, commitment and achievements in one so young and look towards you for more answers. You're a guiding light to all of us. Thank you.
So he receives a 2 lakh award, a gold medallion and a citation. Doctor, would you like to say a few words to us? Come.
Good evening. It's an honor for me to receive this award. I would like to thank Tanker Foundation, Georgie sir. It's an honor to receive this award from the eminent faculties here. Thank you, ma'am. In my mail, I had earlier requested too that the money which with the award should be, I think I should donate that award to Tankers back. So God has given me enough. It's just my own way. So whatever I can contribute for the good of the common people, I will do it. Please allow me. I would request you for that. Thank you. Thank you for considering my application. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manish. We're really, really grateful to you. And we wish you all the best in all your future research work as well. The next award is the Rennie Abraham Tanker Foundation Love for Service Award. Kavya is Rennie's niece. So she's going to just say a quick word about her uncle. Rennie was our baby trustee when we started Tanker. He passed early, but he was such a fantastic guy, a wonderful person who never said no to us.
Hi, good evening one and all. So on behalf of Aban and our family, we thank Tanker Foundation for giving us this opportunity every year to give this award on behalf of my uncle, who used to be, Tanker used to be a special part of his life, I think, and he used to be ever smiling when he comes to Tanker. He used to have great friends here. So we are honored to give this award to the Love for Service Award to Doctor, and we thank you, Tanker, again, and all the very best in your endeavors. Yes.
So this goes to Dr. Vivek Kute. He's already received a Young Research Award from us, and we really, really appreciate that you're here with us today and all the fantastic work you do. Rennie will be blessing us from above for giving you this award.
In presenting this citation, we applaud your spirit of love and devotion, Dr. Vivek Kute, in selflessly serving thousands of kidney patients through the Dr. H.L. Trivedi Institute of Transplantation and Sciences, Ahmedabad, the largest public sector transplant hospital in Asia. Your research and teamwork has saved thousands of lives of over 1,500 patients with kidney pair donation and deceased donor transplantations. Your several orations and many awards and honors are truly a source of great inspiration to all of us. You are a COVID warrior who has gone beyond the call of duty in helping the needy. You're a guiding light for us with your love and compassion towards all humanity. Thank you.
Doctor, please say a few words to us.
I have no words to express my gratitude for honoring me this award from Tanker Foundation. Dr. Georgie Abraham sir is also the president of Indian Society of Organ Transplantation, and I am secretary of the society. And we have strong leadership to increase the access to transplantation all over the India for the underprivileged patient. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek Kute. Thank you so much. Our next award is the K. Venkat Narayana Tanker Foundation Awareness Award. So this is sponsored by Mr. Harnath Gupta and Dr. Shiva Prasad, who are not here today. So they asked me to, sent in their apologies. They've been sponsoring this award. They've been donors of Tanker for years together, and they support our patients in every way. So we're grateful to them for sponsoring this award, for recognizing a person who has done so much of work in creating awareness. And for this, I request Dr. Manjula Kalyan, who runs Swayam Krishi, to come on stage. For intellectually challenged people, she runs an organization. She's done so much of work in helping them, and is still continuing to do it in her 80s. So we really recognize her, because even now she is fundraising in her 80s and helping people. So Dr. Manjula Kalyan, can you come up? Oh, okay. So we will go down and give her the check and the award. Yeah. We'll read the citation also while it's being given.
The Awareness Award goes to Mrs. Manjula Kalyan. In presenting this citation, we applaud your spirit of dedication, compassion to spread awareness and tirelessly working for the welfare of people with intellectual disabilities for over 40 years through Swayam Krishi. You are a pioneer in the group home concept, which has helped thousands of people with intellectual disability live with dignity and independence. We admire your perseverance for an inclusive society. You're also a special educator, researcher, trainer, and you have had many international and national awards and are truly inspiring. Your commitment to the intellectually challenged is a guiding light to all of us. Thank you for being with Tanker on this 30th Annual Charity Awards.
Hello, test.
Thank you.
Can you say a few words?
I sincerely, heartfully thank the Tanker Foundation for recognizing the work we are doing. You know, in my special education, reinforcer is the trick of the trade. This is a reinforcer for me. Try and do more, still at least for 5 years, to bring my foundation to come to this level. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manjula Kalyan, for coming all the way from Hyderabad. And we are really grateful for the wonderful work that you do. The La Renan Tanker Foundation for the Sake of Honor Award. Now, this has been sponsored by the La Renan Group, who are our regular supporters, especially for awareness and screening. Mr. Pankaj Singh, Mr. Ankit Singh, Mr. Vivek Gupta, and so many people have been supporting us. They are not here today, so they sent their apologies, but they have said that they will continue to support us in all our activities. And this, for the Sake of Honor Award, is going to Dr. Gomati Narasimhan. I think you are a fantastic person, an inspiration to all of us, and richly deserving of the For the Sake of Honor Award.
Dr. Gomati Narasimhan, in presenting this citation, we applaud your spirit of dedication and determination in being the first woman multi-organ transplant surgeon of India. Your contribution to the field of transplantations, 2,500 liver and 1,000 kidney transplantations, is truly laudable. You've been instrumental in establishing the cadaver transplant program in Tamil Nadu, through which thousands of lives have been saved. Your special interest in combined liver and kidney transplant in children and adults has given hope to many. Your several publications and awards, especially the Woman Leader in Transplantation Award given to the annual Congress of the Transplant Society in Buenos Aires, CEP 22, are greatly admirable. You are an inspiration and guiding light to all of us. We also thank you for delivering the SV Venkatesan and Mrs. Malati Venkatesan Tanker Foundation Memorial Lecture. Inspire to aspire. Thank you.
Dr. Gomati, a few words? A few more words? I've said a lot. Okay, so she said a lot, but thank you for being with us today. So, the next one is the La Renan Tanker Foundation Lifetime Achievement Award. And this goes to two doctors, eminent doctors who've done fantastic work in kidney disease, who are also selflessly serving people. Dr. Tanmoy Das and Dr. Sandeep Guleria, who is not with us today. I request his representative also when we call you to come. Dr. Tanmoy Das, thank you for being with us and for the exceptional work that you do.
Ma'am,
The La Renan Tanker Award Lifetime Achievement to Dr. Tanmay Das. Spirit of dedication and commitment in giving yourself over to the cause of kidney disease. You have several firsts in setting up hemodialysis and peritoneal dialysis services, live donor and cadaver kidney transplant programs, and home dialysis programs for over persons in the northeast of India. You have given life and hope to thousands of patients through all these initiatives. You are a nephrologist par excellence, a greatly appreciated doctor, teacher, and friend. Your dedication and commitment in nurturing, mentoring, and training hundreds of young physicians, nurses, and technicians in dialysis and renal care, research, publications, orations are truly laudable. You are a guiding light and inspiration to all of us. Congratulations. A few words, sir.
Thank you very much. I am greatly honored and humbled to be here. We have such an eminent journalist as a chief guest, my good friend Georgie, whom I have known from 1992, and all the members of the Tanker Trust. You have been doing a tremendous job. I know the work that you have been doing, but today has been another eye-opener. The way you are expanding your services to downtrodden society is really remarkable. Georgie would not be knowing, I think. I first met him in 1992, and he wanted me to share a few words on my humble contributions to development of renal sciences in the Northeast. Georgie used to come down in those days for the CAPD patients, the who's who in Northeast, but nothing was available. In 1980, the first dialysis in Assam was done on a former Chief Minister, Mr. Hiteshwar Saikia. The government of Assam set up a dialysis facility in his home, and he did dialysis at home for 4 months, and subsequently went for a life-related transplant to Boston, survived 20 years, became Chief Minister for 2 terms, Governor and Member of Parliament. So he came back from Boston and immediately started the dialysis facility in Guwahati Medical College with 4 machines. That was the birth of nephrology in Assam in 1981. Subsequently, when I came back after my postdoctorate in Chandigarh in 91, the whole of Northeast, which includes 7 states, had only 2 dialysis centers and nothing else. It was very, very sad to see patients from Manipur who had to drive 14 hours, 16 hours. Tawang, which is a border of China, they have to drive 2 days. So can you imagine a CKD patient coming for dialysis? Many would die without dialysis. It is at that point of time that Georgie came into Assam. He used to come frequently to Assam, Shillong, and he inspired me to start CAPD. He was a person who started CAPD in India, and in 1993 I put the first CAPD catheters in Assam. Subsequently, we gained confidence and we put CAPD in chief ministers, speakers, DGPs, chief secretaries. Many of the chief ministers fought re-election on CAPD and won again. So that was very heartening, and kidney disease then took off in leaps and bounds. Today, I'm happy to say that the Northeast has a huge number of nephrologists. Every state has private, and they have about 40 dialysis centers run by the government in Assam in all far-flung areas. People are getting good dialysis across their house. They don't have to come to far-flung areas. The post-doctorate courses have started in Guwahati Medical College, have started in my institute. So we are bringing out trained persons for nephrology in the Northeast. Georgie continues to help us, and I'm quite sure that once we embark on a full-fledged deceased donor transplantation, my good friend Vivek Pute and the eminent speaker today and Georgie would lend us a hand. Mohan Foundation has been after us for a long time, but our next aim is to start a diseased donor transplantation. Thank you once again for requesting me to come here, and I'm greatly honored. At the end, because of the sterling work done by the Tanker Foundation, I had mentioned in my mail that I would be giving back the award money to allow them to continue the good work. And in future also, I hope that I can in some way assist the Tanker Foundation in the Northeast. Thank you very much.
Doctor, we are very touched and very grateful to you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with us. You're doing some fantastic work in the northeast of India, and we're grateful for that. So, we go on to the next award, which is the Ashok Shankaralingam Endowment Award. There's a little clip from Ashok's daughter. Can we play it, Shiva? So, we just want to hear it.
A very good evening to everyone. The Tanker Foundation has been doing tremendous work for the underprivileged with kidney disease, and the Pioneer Asia Group's association with the foundation goes back many years. Medical expenses pose a huge financial burden on a family and eats away into its savings and money kept aside for other basic expenses. It is with this in mind that the family took a decision to be associated with Tanker Foundation in memory of my father, Mr. S. Ashok. He was the kind of person who lent a helping hand to anybody who asked for it. And we are very glad that through this Patient Endowment Fund, his legacy is able to live on. It has been 11 years since the fund was created, and we are so very proud of all the work that you are doing. Thank you, and wishing you all the very best.
So Ashok was a good friend, and through the Pioneer Asia Group, they helped us in Madurai, and they still continue to help us. And we're grateful. Ashok was this fantastic guy, again, a person who never said no and helped us in setting up dialysis centers. So this is being given in his memory. We really miss him. And from last year, from 1 year, it has been up to, from 1 lakh, it's been up to 2 lakhs this year. So this is going to 3 of our patients, our deserving patients. And I request Mr. Samuel from Vellore to collect the check on behalf of the patients. Yeah. So this will go to 3 of our Vellore patients who are not under the CM scheme. So this will help them get free dialysis. Thank you. So now I request, Rohini, are you going to come and read out the, this is the most important part of the evening, recognizing the Tanker family, our angels on earth. We request all the awardees to remain so that we can take a group photo for the newspapers later. But in the meanwhile, we want to recognize. No, she is going to leave only at 8 o'clock, so wait. Yeah, sorry. I told our chief that she has to be here till 8 o'clock. She doesn't have a choice. So we'll finish in 15 minutes as planned. Oh, he is wanting to leave. Okay. So the Tanker Staff Awards, I request Lakshmi Rao to read.
So we start with the Tanker Star of the Year 2022, presented based on the parameters of their individual performance, going beyond the line of duty, Tanker experience, individual punctuality, contribution to teamwork. So the Stars of Tanker 2022 is awarded to Mr. Martin, Senior Unit Manager, Tirupur Unit, Mr. H. Abdul Sukur, Senior Unit Manager, Valsaravakam Unit, Mr. S. Karthik, Shift in Charge, Valluvarkottam Unit, and Mr. K. Udayakumar, Senior Dialysis Technician, Ambittur Unit. We are deeply indebted to them for their contribution, commitment, and patient care. Congratulations. Do I go to the next one? Next over the 4 awards. Okay. 4 people. Yeah. Mr. Uday Kumar. Who's the next one? Come. Abdul Sukur? Yes, please. Abdul Sukur. Now, Karthik. Karthik.
Give them the plugs in their hands, please. Okay. Sangeeta Kumar, come. Sangeeta Kumari,
Sangeet Tanker Service Award for the year 2022 is presented to Mrs. Tamil Selvi S. Sangeeta Kumari, Senior Dialysis Technician, Ambattur Unit. Tamil Selvi, Dialysis Technician, Ambattur Unit. Mr. Muthukumar, Senior Dialysis Technician, Madurai Unit. Mr. Karthik, shift in charge. Tamil Selvi, have you received your award? So we are just going to read out all the punctuality award winners.
1 minute.
Can you all please come on stage?
One more Star of the Year award to Uday.
Mr. Uday Kumar, Star of the Year. I'm just going to call out all the names of the staff. Please come. Sujitra, Executive Admin and Accounts Admin Office. Mr. Guganathan, Senior Unit Manager, Ambattur Unit. Mr. Uday Kumar, Senior Dialysis Technician, Ambattur Unit. Ms. Sandhya Rajendran, Dialysis Technician, Ambattur Unit. Mr. M. Vijayanand Kumar, Senior Dialysis Technician, Madurai Unit. Mr. B. Arasu, Senior Dialysis Technician, Madurai Unit. Ms. S. Sankareshwari, Dialysis Technician, Madurai Unit. Mr. Arun Kumar B., Dialysis Technician, Madurai Unit. Mr. Uma Shankar V., Senior Unit Manager, Perungudi Unit. Mr. M. Karthik, Dialysis Technician, Perungudi Unit. Ms. Shanti R., Housekeeper, Perungudi Unit. Mr. Jinu Kumar, Senior Unit Manager, Tirupur Unit. Mr. Dinesh Kumar, Dialysis Technologist, Tirupur Unit. Mr. E. Varadan, Dialysis Technician, Tirupur Unit. Miss C. Kausalya, Dialysis Technician, Tirupur Unit. Mr. V. Divakar, Dialysis Technologist, Tirupur Unit. Mr. A. Satish Kumar, Shift in Charge, Tiruvattur Unit. Mr. H. Abdul Sukur, Senior Unit Manager, Valsaravakam Unit. Mr. U. Dharmalingam, Dialysis Technologist, Valsaravakam. Mr. E. Ayanar, Dialysis Technologist, Valsaravakam. Mr. Sirafaras Ahmed, Dialysis Technologist, Valsaravakam. Ms. D. Padma, Housekeeper, Valluvar Kotam.
So we are just going to take the pictures because they want to be Mali. Dr. Georgie, you have to come up as well. Come.
Then we should go on to the next.
Come.
May I go on to the next
Anybody
award?
else? Please come.
No, they've come.
Just start reading.
Okay, the Tanker Awareness Initiatives. We are happy to announce a new category of recognition effective 2022. So they include Tanker Awareness, World Kidney Day, CM scheme related awareness initiatives. I'm just going to read out the names. Okay. M. Deepa, Awareness Chennai. V. Alagamalai, Awareness Madurai. P. Ramapriya, Awareness Chennai. K. Uday Kumar, Senior Dialysis Technician, Ambattur. M. Samuel, Dialysis Technician, Ambattur. Hariharan, Dialysis Technician, Ambattur. S. Parthiban, Senior Dialysis Technician, Injimbakam. Samuel, Senior Unit Manager, Madurai Unit. Jnanasundari, Nutritionist, Madurai Unit. B. Arasu, Dialysis Technician, Madurai Unit. D. Arun Kumar, Dialysis Technician, Madurai Unit. R. Indumati, Dialysis Technician, Perungudi. Karthik, dialysis technician, Perungudi. Shanti, housekeeper, Perungudi. Janita, Perungudi. I'm just going to call out the name and the unit, so please. Bharat, Perungudi. N. Jayanti, Retteri. T. Vellivelu, Retteri. P. Srilekha, Retteri. N. Martin, Tirupur. Muthuselvi, Tirupur. Dinesh Kumar, Tirupur. Varadan, Tirupur. Divakar, Tirupur. Deepa, Thiruverkadu. Menaka, Thiruverkadu. Sarojini, Thiruvatiyur. Karthikeyan, Valsaravakam. Abdul Sukur, Valsaravakam. Jensi, Valsaravakam. Pavitra, Valsaravakam. Sirafras Ahmed, Valsaravakam. Karthik, Valluvar Kotam. Karthik, Valluvar Kotam. Vijayalakshmi, Valluvar Kotam. Karthika, Valluvar Kotam. Kodai Nayagi, Vellur. Karthik, Vyasarpadi. Sabita, Officer, Admin and HR. Kripakani, Executive HR and Admin Office. Sujitra, Executive Admin.
So these are all people who've been helping in the awareness and screening in a very small way. But most of it is done by Raji and her two able Ramapriya and Alagumalai and Deepa. But all these people have also participated in some of the camps in creating awareness, doing screening. They take time off from their work so that they can do awareness and screening as well, which is one of our most important goals. So thank you so much. Raji, you've inspired all these people to help in awareness and screening. So thank you all. Thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you, Stars of the Year. Thank you, all the service awards who worked with us for over 10 years. Our staff attrition rate is extremely low, so we're grateful to Rohini and the HR team for taking care of that. So thank you very much, each and every one of you. So can we have the stars? Yes, thank you, all our angels on earth. Okay, each and every one of you. Tamil enadhu nadamadum devangal ningalla marakadinga. Okay, so ningala vande if you didn't do self-service, especially during the COVID period, our patients would have not been able to survive. So thank you, each and every one of you played an important role. Thanks a lot. Yeah. So can we ask the Star of the Year and the Service Award people to come to take a picture with Dr. Georgie also? Quickly, if you can just come and stand, it will be nice. We honor them with a small amount as well. So after which we would like our awardees also to come on stage. Star and Service Awards, can you please come quickly? I'm sorry, there's a huge queue. We have around 160 staff and each one is, playing a fantastic role in Tanker. So we really appreciate them. We're so grateful to each and every one of them. Thank you. So I now request our awardees also on stage. Thank you, boys, our managers, our heads, all our inspiration. One more photo with all the... We request our awardees to come on stage. We wanted to come in Hindu newspaper especially. Okay, come. And come. Yes.
Have you told people? I haven't told them.
Come. Huh? What is... Okay, you want to take a photo. I'll come and take it later with you. Come. Yeah, come. Okay. Shall I call you later after this? Idu mudichittu. Adu mudiya. Come. Mudiyattu. Na koopadi. I spoke to your girls are here. 1 minute. There's one Dr. Manjula Kalyan as well coming. Come. Serena. Serena. So, yeah, Dr. Manjula Kalyan has climbed the stairs. Come on. Yes, can we ask those people to come? Thank you. We'll take this picture later. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So we'll just finish this and then you three come. Thank you. Doesn't matter. Sorry. Plaque. Come.
Good friend. You have to do more than thank you.
So thank you. I request our other young awardees to come for a photograph. Just one more photo, please, with our staff, the last one. No, I missed out on those three. Our vandare, endha award? Please come. The service award people would like to take a picture. Come on. Quickly. Sorry, I didn't see you all on stage. I apologize. Come. Quickly. Service award. Come. Stand next to doctor.
Very impressive.
So a grateful thanks to Dr. Malini Parthasarathi for being here with us today. Your organization Hindu has supported us right from day one, and we want your continued support. And we've got a lot of visibility that we need for awareness and screening. So please do help us, and we are grateful to you. I think I already said thank you to everybody. If I missed out on anybody, Mr. Venkateshan, Mr. Ravi, there are others here whom who I have not said thank you to. But thank you all for being with us this evening. This is a very important program for us. It's informal, but it's nevertheless very important, where we want to say thank you and recognize all you wonderful and great people. So each and every one, thank you so much. Please have dinner and go, because Savera, Nina Reddy always organizes a fabulous meal for us. Yeah. So, Malini, thank you. I've let you off by 8 o'clock. And by the way, there is a game, and we're going to give prizes. Sita Krishnan, my aunt, has given 10,000 rupees. Thank you so much. Thank you.
See, every year, Lata's tagline is grateful thanks. She thanks everyone profusely, but I think it's an opportunity we have to take to thank Lata, not just Lata, but her family. They have been great supporters, and I guess she's a pillar of Tanker, apart from Dr. Georgie, of course. So we are very grateful to not just Lata, but the entire family for being such great support. Thank you.
No thanks needed. It's all part of life. If not for my mother-in-law, I won't know where my kidneys are. So, you know, we have to thank my Amma for that. So, we're just going to play a couple of games. Of course, and thank Dr. Georgie. Thank you so much, Doctor. So, we're going to play a couple of games for which there are prizes. So, Malini, I'm going to let you off.
Thank you so much. I'll see you again too.
So, thank you for coming. Do you want to play a game and win a prize? Okay, very quickly. When was Tanker started? I want the date and the year. I've said it's the 30th year. So, I'm sorry, but Everybody said Jan 1993. No, it was June 1993. So, who said June 1993? Okay, there are two people. One is Geeta and one is Kripa. It's okay. சரி, இது வரைக்கும் எத்தனை டயாலிசிஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கோம் அதை படிச்சிருக்கீங்களா? நம்ம அப்டேட்ல this is for all our angels. Our angels இது வரைக்கும் அட்லீஸ்ட் ஒரு தோராயிரமா சொல்ல முடியுமா? இல்ல அவங்க என்ன சொல்றாங்க? No, not 2 lakhs. Come on, get the right answer. நான் இந்த இன்னைக்கு ஸ்பீச்ல சொல்லல, ஆனா you have to tell me. Come on. அப்டேட் எத்தனை டயாலிசிஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கோம் இது வரைக்கும்? ஆல்மோஸ்ட் யாரு 5 lakhs சொன்னா? ஓகே, நோ பட் வீல் கிவ் இட் டு அஸ். யாராவது 5 lakhs சொன்னாங்களா பின்னால? ஓகே, கம். Dr. Manjula Kalyan has read the brochure and she said correctly. So, part of our tanker family. Go there. ஓகே, எத்தனை டயாலிசிஸ் யூனிட் டேங்கருக்கு இருக்கு? மேனேஜர்ஸ்க்கெல்லாம் கிடையாது. யார் பின்னால இருக்காங்க? ஓகே, கிரீன். ஓ, வந்துதா, சாரி. டின்னர் சர்வ் பண்ணிடு. டின்னர் சர்வ் பண்ண போறோம். ஸோ ப்ளீஸ் ஈட் அண்ட் தென் கோ. ஓகே. So, the next question is, எத்தனை பேருக்கு விழிப்புணர்வு கொடுத்துருக்கோம் டேங்கர் மூலமா? அட்மின் ஆஃபீஸ்ல இருந்து யாருக்கும் பிரைஸ் கிடைக்காது. 2 lakhs. ஓகே, அப்துல், இந்த தடவை உங்களுக்கு கொடுக்குறோம். even though you are a manager, but we'll give it to you. Thank you. இந்த அவார்ட்ஸ் ஃபங்க்ஷன்ல எத்தனை லட்சம் கொடுக்குறோம்? கரெக்டா? How many? இங்க பின்னால இந்த ஆன்சரே வரலையா? அவார்ட்ஸ் ஃபங்க்ஷனே பார்க்கல நீங்க. ஓகே, 9 lakhs சொன்னீங்களா? Who said 9? Okay, green shirt. Sorry, I can't remember all your names. Okay. Mystery parcel எல்லாரும், did you participate in it? அந்த parcel சுதா மேடம் டொனேட் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. வருஷக்கணக்கில் எங்கள் அம்மா டொனேட் பண்ணுவாங்க. இன்னைக்கு சுதா மேடம் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஸோ லாஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின். ஓகே, ஐம் சாரி, நிறைய பாய்ஸுக்கு ப்ரைஸ் கிடச்சிருக்கு. இது கேர்ள்ஸுக்கு. ஓகே, வேர் ஆர் த கேர்ள்ஸ்? புட் யுவர் ஹேண்ட்ஸ் அப். Can you put your hands up? Okay. தோராயிரமா எத்தனை பேஷண்ட்ஸ் இருக்காங்க டேங்கருக்கு? $800. Come, you come, yellow sari. Come. அந்த yellow, sorry. Come. So she gets the award. Almost 800 நான் சொன்னேன், அப்போ அவங்க கரெக்டாக நம்பர் சொல்லிட்டாங்க. இது வந்து ஏன் லேடிஸ் சொன்னேன்னா இது லேடிஸ் ஹேண்ட்பேக், அதனால தான். ஓகே, சாரி. No. I wanted, girls are not answering. So, thank you very much எல்லாரும் வந்ததுக்கு. I hope you enjoyed. Mystery parcel, இப்போ மேம் வந்து என்னது சொல்ல போகிறாங்க?
அப்படி ஒன்று மிஸ்ட்ரி ஒன்றும் இல்லை. வெள்ளிவேலு, you get the mystery parcel. Vellivelu got 3 out of 6. So, it is a beautiful lead crystal glass bowl is the prize. But he got number of pieces correct, use anywhere and gifted by correct. All the rest were wrong, but congratulations.
Okay, there are 2 more prizes from Kattabov. Kattabov, you know, Savera Hotel. My brother's wife runs the beauty parlor there. So every year she gives us prizes. So now there are 2 more prizes. Okay. எத்தனை advisory members இருக்காங்க டேங்கர்ல?
Closest will get. Closest. எவ்வளவு? 12, huh? Okay. No, 12 is wrong. How many advisory members?
யாரு 15 சொன்னாங்க? No, not you again. வேற யாராவது? சரி வாங்க. And which girl said 15? Come. So 2 பேருக்கும் cut above. Okay. Hair cut அல்லது manicure ஏதாவது பண்ணிக்கலாம். So thank you all. I hope you all enjoyed. Enjoy பண்ணீங்களா? Yes, thank you all for being here to receive your certificates. There are lots of people whom we have to give certificates to also. But இந்த தடவை எல்லாருக்கும் கொடுக்க முடியல. And thank you all for being here. So please have dinner and go. Okay?